it's Karen Burniston here with my monthly designer challenge video. The theme this month is bunny, and I am using our slider box die set and our surprise cube, but instead of letting the surprise cubes fly out of the box, I have them glued to each other, then glued inside the slider box, and then decorated as a giant bunny. And this is just another great option for using the surprise cubes and the slider box together. This tower idea could be decorated with a different character on the front, or maybe you're just going to put photos all over the cubes, but still have them anchored. The surprise cube pop-up has its own great assembly video. I will link it at the end of this video as well as in the description box below. So if you are new to that die set and want to go watch that video, you'll see a much slower process of putting those cubes together. For materials, I just went stash diving. I found a cute plaid paper that had some orange in it, so I chose a medium weight orange smooth cardstock for my cubes. And since my cardstock was not heavyweight, I went ahead and added all my decorator squares and triangles to the cube halves before assembling. The surprise cubes do require a rubber band to pop up, and so I am using the small number 8 firm stretch rubber bands. We do sell both number 8 rubber bands and soft stretch number 12s on our website. Either one will work in the surprise cube. You will see a little bit more about that, like I said, in that other assembly video. With rubber band pop-ups, a good adhesive is a must. My favorite is LINECO Neutral pH Adhesive in my fine tip bottle. We do sell both of those items on our website. And just look under tools and accessories if you're looking for rubber bands or glue. Okay, so I've got my first cube assembled. That's going to be for the head of the bunny. And for this one, I want it to collapse to the back. So the surprise cube only collapses one direction. So you have to figure out which direction it's collapsing. And then since I know that I want it to collapse to the back, then I'm just going to give myself a little F on the front here to remind myself that that's the side that I should decorate as the face of the bunny. I needed ovals, and I found 3 perfect ones in our Slim Frames die set. So the largest one I cut out of gray, and then the stitched one I cut twice out of gray, and then the long skinny scored one I cut twice out of pink. And I'm going to glue the pink ones to the stitched ones to be the ears of the bunny. I'll start by taking the large oval using adhesive only along the bottom and gluing that to the front face of my top cube. Now that oval is a little bit wider than the cube, but that's okay because the slider box drawer is 2 1/4, whereas the cube is 2 inches. So as long as your oval isn't wider than 2 1/4, it will work inside the slider box drawer. With ear placement, the height is not a concern. The ears can definitely stick up higher than the cube at the top, but it's just the width that you want to make sure that as you tuck those ears in, you don't let them stick out to the side any wider than just a smidge over the edge of the cube. So I'm using my big oval that I used for the face to kind of guide me with the ears, that I don't have the edge of the ears much further outside the cube than that big oval, so that I keep it within that 2 1/4 inch width of the drawer. We have animal add-ons sets to fit our pop-up ball dies. There is one that will do a monkey and a lion. That'll be a perfect place to grab some face parts for my bunny. And then for whiskers, I will grab those out of Animal Add-ons 1. Okay, so I cut the lion nose out of pink cardstock, and then I'm going to glue those cat whiskers behind the nose. And before I glue that to the face, I've decided that I want to add some rosy cheeks to my bunny. So I'm using a pink colored pencil for that. The pink I chose ended up being a little dark for my taste, so I decided to take a little bit of the color off with a white eraser. Then I glue the eyes, again out of that lion and monkey set. I've assembled the eyes and I'm gluing those onto the face first. Then I add the mouth piece and then finish it off with the nose and whiskers. I assembled 2 more cubes to be the body of the bunny. Now, I went ahead and added my plaid pattern paper, but I didn't add it to the faces where I didn't need it. So my bunny head is going to collapse to the back. My bunny middle is going to collapse forward. So this piece here is going to be the front face of the bunny. Rather than put the plaid paper square on that face, I'm just going to go ahead and put the gray color that I'm using for the bunny itself. I also saved a little paper with that middle cube by not adding any pattern paper to the top or the bottom face, since those were going to be glued to other cubes. The bottom cube needs to collapse to the back. So I've left paper off of the front face, and then I'm going to use that gray color for that front face square. Now I'm ready to glue my 3 cubes together to make that tower. And the goal here is just to make sure that they are well adhered to each other, that everything lines up, and that essentially you've got an accordion going where each cube folds opposite the one next to it. So you've got the top cube folding to the back, middle cube folding to the front, and then the bottom cube is folding to the back. And that's the only way to make them stack up so that they're right over the top of each other to fit inside that slider box drawer. Okay, back to my monkey and lion mini ball add-ons to create feet. So what I've done here is used the larger ear out of the set. So that would be the monkey ear, and I cut those out of gray. Then I cut the same little ovals that I used for the eyes out of pink, and the little circles that are used for the centers of the eyes also out of pink. And I cut enough of those so that I could make 3 toes on each of my bunny's feet. Now, I had originally intended to connect the toes to the ovals, but then when I saw Suzanne Smith's card for this month's challenge with her cute little bunny feet, I was definitely inspired to have those toes separate from the ovals. I'm using the same oval that I used for the bunny's face for the belly, but I've cut it where it's going to cross from one cube to the other. And that way I don't have to worry about a fold in that oval kind of impeding the bunny being able to pop all the way up. Instead, I'll just line those up to meet at the fold. Then when I fold it up and they kind of bunch a little bit, I can just take my fingernail and just, kind of push the cardstock down into that seam. Okay, for the arms, I'm using the arms out of the lion and monkey set, and I'm only using glue up at the shoulder area so that I can tuck some Easter eggs underneath the paws of the bunny. And I took a black pen and just marked some little claws marks on the ends of those arms. And then I'm gluing on my feet. And once again, I'm letting them hang just a little bit over the side of the cubes, but not much because I don't have a lot of room inside that drawer. Then I used the grass edger out of our Nature Edges die set to cut some green paper to be grass below the bunny. For a bow tie, I'm using the present bow out of our big birthday charms, and I just embellished the center with an enamel dot. I've decided to decorate mine as an Easter bunny, so I'm using our Easter charms die set, and there is a cool striped Easter egg in that set. I've cut it out of 3 colors so that I could mix and match the stripes to make 3 different Easter eggs. And then since I only glued the arms down up at the shoulders, I can lift up the hands to find places for my Easter eggs and glue them both to the cube and to the arms. And then the greeting, Happy Easter, that comes in that same charm set will work perfectly up on top of the cube tower. And I've cut that out of 2 colors and layered them over the top of each other at a little slight diagonal offset to create a drop shadow. The slider box die set also has its own assembly video, and I will link that both at the end of this video and in the description box below. I used a nice thick green cardstock, so that's 100-pound smooth cardstock for the drawer, and then I decorated it with pattern paper. I used a green pattern paper on the inside of the drawer to kind of look like grass, and then the outside of the drawer I just used the same plaid paper that I used on the cubes. Then I'm going to add a strong adhesive all over the bottom of my Easter bunny. I can collapse down that bunny. Remember, it folds back and forth. So the bottom cube folds to the back, middle to the front, top to the back. And then I can get that positioned centered inside that drawer in the closed position, which what that really means is that when it pops up, the bunny's going to be positioned at the front end of that drawer. And that space behind the bunny in the drawer, that might be a good place for you to write your personal greeting, maybe on a separate little square and glue it in the bottom of the drawer. Okay, once again, if you need a slower assembly of the slider box, you can refer to that other video. I've sped things up here just to show that I am quickly going to assemble the sleeve for the slider box. Now, it is up to you as to whether you glue the slider box sleeve together and then decorate it, or whether you add some decorator pieces ahead of time. I decided to go ahead and add my first layer of pattern paper to the pieces before assembling. And then I just work all of the score lines, and it is the long tabs that are used to connect the two halves together to essentially make a sleeve. Then on the end, there are 4 little fold-in tabs plus an extra piece. If you add the drawer inside the sleeve, that will help be able to give good pressure to attach that extra piece. To finish out the decorations on the slider box, I'm going to use 2 more of the rectangles that come included in the set, just layering those together and gluing them to the front of the sleeve. Then I use the nature edges again to cut 3 pieces of grass that I'm going to layer together while also adding a chocolate bunny that I assembled from those Easter charms and the last of my 3 Easter eggs just tucked into the grass. Then I glue my finished chocolate bunny scene to the front of the slider box and I'll embellish with a few enamel dots. And I decided to also use some colorful enamel dots behind the bunny inside the drawer. They just sort of look like Easter eggs in the grass. If you wanted to mail your slider box, I would suggest a bubble mailer for that. These designer challenge videos are meant to spark an idea. So the idea here is a tower of surprise cubes inside the slider box. What could you decorate that as? Doesn't have to be an Easter bunny. You could choose some other character. You could individually decorate each of those cubes. You could try 2 cubes instead of 3. So definitely just explore this idea and see what you can come up with. If you want to, we would love it if you would post your projects in our Facebook group, Karen Berniston Pop-Up Peeps. You will find wonderful inspiration for using our dies in that group. Now, if you need more bunny inspiration, then definitely check out this month's challenge. You will find the link to the blog post in the description box below. On the blog post, you will find links to all of the wonderful bunny inspiration by our talented design team. Thanks for watching. If you click on the website link, you'll go to KarenBerniston.com, where you can purchase these dies as well as find links to our other social media accounts. You can subscribe to this YouTube channel and check out some of my other videos. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.